Satnam. This is a medicinal Reiki treatment for tinnitus using the traditional hand placements and sequencing of Dr. Usoi. Starting with the first placement, I'm placing my Jupiter finger, the index finger of my dominant hand, right above the ear canal. Placement 1 is using the index finger, the Jupiter finger, in the ear canal, not touching the skin, hovering right above. And channeling your Reiki flow into individuated fingers takes practice, but it's necessary for using specific energy fields for particular chi movements. So I'm letting the energy course through my finger into the ear canal. And my model is my mother, who is now saying that she's feeling a rush of saliva in her mouth and she feels like she needs to swallow a lot. And that is a signal of the blockages being moved and the chi flowing through the meridians. Following the traditional placements and sequencing of Dr. Usoi is so powerful because of his knowledge of the etheric channels of the human body. You'll find that the sequence of the movements is really the magic of the healing. And I'm picking 3 minutes for each placement, just because I was intuitively guided to the 3. Three in numerology means growth, and tinnitus and vertigo are large, big symptoms of ascension. So supporting her growth here. So the second hand placement places your Jupiter finger on the front of the ear and your Saturn finger behind the ear. The Saturn finger being the middle finger of your dominant hand. Dr. Usoi mainly uses the dominant hand for giving Reiki, and so do I. I use my right hand when giving Reiki. And I will hold my left hand in different mudras. Sometimes you're called to use both. And you'll find that your non-dominant hand has an inflow of energy, a pulling, and your dominant hand has an outflow, a pushing. So using those accordingly. And right now I'm letting the Reiki flow most powerfully through the index in the middle, the Jupiter and the Saturn frequencies. Jupiter is expansive. I'm putting it on the front of the ear and balanced by the embodiment of Saturn, the boundary of Saturn behind the ear. It's creating a yin-yang flow through the meridian system. And if you're watching this just for educational purposes, just to learn how to do it for yourself or for your patients, you will experience the chi flowing through your meridian system as well, simply by engaging and watching it. Reiki is universal life force, and it's very quantum. So your connection allows you to receive, but don't worry. You can never receive too much Reiki. Even if you don't have ear inflammation, it is a blessing. Ramadasa Sase So Hung is the mantra that's playing at a traditional healing sound code. And the third placement of the tinnitus sequence is on the forehead. Letting the Reiki flow from the center of the palm and also through each fingertip. You'll find that it pours out of your hand where it needs to go. I'm showing my Gyan Mudra here. My left hand is in Jupiter Mudra with my Jupiter finger touching my ego, my thumb, creating the seal of Jupiter. In my receiving hand, allows me to push it, the energy of Jupiter, through my dominant hand into my patient, allowing her to expand. Allowing her to become more receptive to these high vibrations that the photon belt is washing all over our fields, causing so many of these uncomfortable symptoms like ear ringing and vertigo and headaches, fatigue. Reiki is a beautiful and very quick healing option for all things ascension. Always watching your patient's movements. If you see here, my mom starts blowing air out of the right side of her mouth. She was surprised by this. It was quite involuntary. She felt the need to expel puffs of air out of the right side of her mouth while working with her frontal lobe. The next placement is the temple placement. Placing both hands on both sides of the head. This creates an infinity symbol of cycling energy that balances both hemispheres of the brain. More puffs coming out. This is the physical manifestation of the densities releasing, of the blockages removing. My mom's expelling it with chi. As these higher frequencies wash over us, we have to make ourselves harmonize with them, and blockages in our field can cause the discordancy that makes it so uncomfortable. This part of the session is when a lot of the neurons begin to clear. You'll see the rapid eye movement. As the densities begin to move through the neuron pathways and reset and rebuild in a divine template. This is my little star baby who just had to participate. My youngest is quite a healer, and he's been attuned to level 1 of Reiki. He is a Reiki healer. It's part of his mission, and his guides asked me to give him an attunement, so we did, and it's been such a beautiful thing. I believe a lot of the star children, or children that might even receive a diagnosis of autism, would benefit greatly from receiving attunements. So we're back to it. And the next hand placement is both hands under the head. And this is still dealing with the brain and the neurons, so you will still see the eye movement come and go. Reiki moves so much more than physical matter because chi transcends through all things. Working with something as a physical pain like tinnitus will also be clearing the emotional bodies and the higher dimensional bodies, the cow body, celestial bodies. Everything receives what the physical body receives. So you might find big releases coming through, emotional releases, burping, sneezing, crying, for something as simple as ear ringing, because it's all holistically connected. if you're learning through this video and you're receiving some of the sensations that come from the chi movement through your meridians, take note of them. It's nice to be able to share these experiences with your patients, with your clients, about what to expect. Deep-rooted familial structuring and pressure from society can cause lip twitching, and here is when one of our spirit guides decided to come in. A large golden beetle, kind of the same coloring as tiger's eye, started crawling on my healing mat here. So we were just giving him some space. He wanted to be in the video as well. And Mom's trying to guide him away, which he listens to. He responds to Reiki more. It's very interesting. My mother has deep ties in Egyptian Akashic records, so I wasn't surprised to see a scarab-looking beetle show up as we're releasing some of her familial patterns. So this is the next hand placement, which is on top of the head. And again, you'll see the rapid eye movement and dealing with the frontal lobe. If it becomes too disturbing to your client or patient or yourself, you can ask them to begin to focus on their breath, but usually they don't notice. So we received guidance to do this treatment 3 consecutive days, and a consecutive repetitive session is really required for a complete healing. One session will make a dent, but it's the consecutive sessions, 3, 5, or 11, 7 or 11. That's what allows the healing to solidify in the reality of the client. So I am going to continue these sessions with my mother quantumly. Even though they might experience relief right away from the first session and feel as though they don't need any more, it is good to encourage them to do at least 3. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned a lot, and have a blessed day. Sat Nam.